Let's talk about I/O ports of this ATmega microcontroller and how can we use it. So firstly we'll see available I/O ports of this ATmega 2560 microcontroller. Then we'll learn how can we configure these I/O pins as output or input, and after configuring it as output or input, how can we read the status of these pins, or how can we set the status of these pins, and we'll write program for that. Let's go ahead and understand the available I/O ports of this microcontroller. If you see the pin diagram, you will find there are some ports available here like port B, port H, port E, port G, and so on. So here port A is having 8 pins. Similarly, port B and port C are having 8 pins. Then port D, port E, port F are also having 8 pins. Only this port G is having 6 pins, and rest other are having 8 pins up to port L. So total 11 ports we have, 11 8 ja 88, and port G is having only 6 pins, so minus 2, 86 IO pins this microcontroller has. So you can use these IO pins as input or output. And if you see the individual pin diagram, you will find there an internal pull-up resistor is present over there, which can be again selectable with the help of this transistor. So with the help of this internal pull-up resistor, you can set the default state of this pin. Let's say this has configured as input and you have enabled this pull-up resistor. So whenever microcontroller reads this pin, and even though you are not providing any external voltage to this pin, since this is pulled up, your microcontroller will read this as logic high. And this is the overall diagram. Here you see pull-up disable bit is there. This bit is present in control register. So with the help of this bit, you can disable the all pull-up registers. Actually, this port XN is to select pull-up register for individual pins. But if you have enabled this bit, pull-up disable bit, if it is enabled in control register, even though you are selecting pull-up from here, it will not be selected because you made this bit as high, which will disable all pull-up registers. And this is DDXN is to select the direction of the pin, whether you want to use at input or output. Let's say you have selected as output. So what will happen? It will enable this tri-state buffer, and whatever you are writing here, from here you can write logic high or logic low with the help of these lines WRX and WPX. So whatever you are writing over here, it will be finally written to that pin. So this is for either selecting the pull-up register. This line you can see here, it is going here to select the pull-up register. So if it is configured as input, this line has configured as input with the help of this DDXN, and you are enabling the pull-up register. So basically you are selecting this. And if it is configured as output, then you can set or clear that pin with the help of these lines. And this circuit is for reading the pin. So with the help of pin XN, you can read the pin status. And this latch is present over here to synchronize the actual pin status, which takes one extra clock here that we'll see later. And this circuit is for sleep. Let's say your microcontroller went into the sleep state, right? Low power state. So to come out from that sleep state, if you have configured something like if the pin status changes, then you want to wake up your microcontroller. So with the help of this circuit, when this line changes externally, either high to low or low to high, this circuit will make microcontroller wake up from sleep state. And these registers we have port with the help of which you can select pull-up register, or you can set or clear that pin if it is configured as output. And with the help of this data direction register, you can configure the direction of that pin. Let's say you have configured this as 0. This bit, if you have configured as 0, that means you are making port A0 as input, and if you are writing 1 to this bit, so that will enable pull-up register for that. And with the help of this input pin address, you can read the status of that pin. So this is basically to read the pin status. And for output, you have to make the bit 1. If you are configuring this bit as 1, that means you want to use this port A0 pin as output. Then based on whatever you are writing here, if you are writing 1 to it, that means you are making that pin as logic high, and if you are making 0, that means you are making that pin as logic low. And anytime you can read the pin status with the help of this pin register, whether it is configured as output or input. Anytime you can read the pin status with the help of this pin register. But in the case of output, if you have configured that pin as output and you are writing 1 to it, then that will toggle that pin status. If earlier it was 1 and you are writing 1 to it, it will make that pin as logic low. Let's see the port pin configuration. So with the help of DDXN, you are basically selecting pin as input, and if you are writing 1, then you are making that pin as output. And if you are selecting 0 for port XN and this is as input, so you are not selecting the pull-up register. So this will be in tri-state or high impedance state. And if you are enabling this bit here, that means you are selecting the pull-up register. So your pull-up register will be selected. You can see here pull-up register is selected, and your pin will source the current if externally pulled low. And this is a special case when you have enabled this bit, which is basically to enable pull-up register, but you are disabling this pull-up register globally by writing logic 1 to this bit. This is the pull-up disable bit in microcontroller control register, which will disable pull-up register globally. So here you can see pull-up register is not selected, and your pin will be in tri-state or high impedance state. And this is for selecting the output, and by writing 0 or 1, you can make that pin as logic low or logic high. This is logic low, this is logic high. Okay, we have understood about the pin configuration and how can we read or write that pin. Now let's see in the read path, how are we reading if the pin has configured as input. So externally we are applying some voltage to these pins and we want to read the status. So firstly it will come to this latch, right? And next it will be transferred to this one. So from where we are reading the actual pin status. So this synchronizer latch introducing some extra delay to the read path. Here you can see, suppose your pin was changed here or here, and since this latch is connected to the clock, you can see here this is connected to this clock. So till the time it is in low state, irrespective whether this pin status has changed, it will not be taken here by this latch. This synchronized latch will not take this changed pin status. Where it will take? It will take when this is at high state. The system clock is at high state, then this changed pin status will be taken, and from here on this clock it will be forwarded to the this latch, and finally you will read here when next time this clock went high. So here you will read from this pin action. So due to this reason, this synchronized latch will introduce extra delay of at least how much? At least half of the clock or 1.5 of the clock. So minimum propagation time is, this PD means propagation time. This minimum propagation time is half of the clock and the maximum propagation time is this much, one complete cycle and half of the cycle. So irrespective your pin has changed here or here, you will read on next cycle only. So this is where you applied some external voltage to that pin, then you are reading. So this is the delay for that. And in case when software has changed the pin value, when this was configured as output, and from here you have changed the pin value. So what will happen? So in this case, see, one latch is already here in the read path, right? Finally it has to come back to this path. So firstly, let's say you have written something over here, right? So that will come to this pin, and one clock cycle you need here. Why you need? Because to propagate or to transfer this pin status to this next latch, one extra clock will be consumed by this latch. Synchronized latch will consume one extra clock. So basically this latch will propagate this pin status, change pin status to this latch. So when this was high here, right, this was high, this pin status will be transferred to this latch, and once this transfer is done, after this propagation time, you are allowed to read this pin status later. So in the next cycle you will be able to read the status of this pin. So whenever you are setting, you have to introduce a no operation in the next cycle, and then you are allowed to read it. So this was about the delays which has introduced in case of input or output. So now we understood the overall logic, how to configure and how to set it. So for input, what we have to do, we have to configure the pull-up register first, and after configuring the pull-up register, you can configure the pin as output or input with the help of DDR register. So there you have to clear that bit to make as input, and then you can read the pin status with the help of pin register, right? And similarly for output, what we have to do, so firstly you have to make the default state using the port register, right? Secondly, you can select as output by setting the particular bit. Then you can set or clear that pin status using the port register, and you can toggle also using pin register, you can toggle that pin. So this was the basic understanding we need to configure an individual pin. Let me end this video here only, and we'll continue writing a program to do this in the next session. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned and keep learning, and I'll see you soon.